Welcome back on Dynamo. Today I want to propose you the unboxing and review about the 8th issue release about the Warhammer Conquest, released by the combination of the Hachette and the Games Workshop. I want to remember you that this is the 8th release, but if you want to find the review about the previous release that I unboxed and reviewed, you can find in the description the playlist about. So now we can go to see the contents inside this after has been unboxed the pack itself. A critic that I want to make to this package, it's the packaging itself, that it's really quite cheap. I don't think that it's perfect to keep this in perfect condition, but it's so, and it's not so bad anyway. Remember that this you can also use as a cat mat or so on in the wild that you build these models, so not worry, and eventually recover it, because it's a pity to through it like so, or eventually to make a design or so on. So eventually use it before to throw it, but it's quite cheap as material, even this. So now we can go to see the unboxing. The first thing that I want to make a site about it's the miniature itself. It's about the Librarian, and we can see that there are two screws available. One that it's the main one about the body of the Librarian, and one that it's about the weapons and the other details. It's really quite nice to see, and I think that it's quite interesting because you can think about monetizing it and about how the details can be used. So you can interchange some details, you can use some other things, eventually you can even think about personalizing it. So I think that it's really quite an interesting box for a miniature, and it's something that surely I modify in some way and bring to you. But anyway, now we go to see also the issue itself, the contents inside. Here we can find the content inside this issue itself, and we can find that there are quite a lot of additional. It's mainly based on psychic, so it's the referring about also the miniature that it's inside in this case. Here we have a bit of description about this specific librarian and the librarians themselves, so we can understand how they work and so on in the world of Warhammer 40k. Here we have the psychic weapons, so it can be really quite interesting to understand better how they work as things, so how they use their own weapons, the different types of weapons, psychic weapons that we have, so it's also quite interesting. A bit of background, and I think that this is quite interesting, and I like that GU and Hachette are including together a bit of background in each issue that they release. So I think that it's really quite interesting, because you can better understand how it's the world of the universe of Warhammer 40k. Here we have the description about how to assemble the Librarian Primaris, and even if it's simply, I suggest you to see how to cut, how to use and understand how to build this model. So it can be really quite interesting in that way. For the ones that start, remember that this is for the ones that start. I buy it because there are some of these uses that I find them really quite interesting for my army, but this is a starting one for the ones that start, so it's really quite interesting. Here we can find about how to build this model, and it can be interesting because in this way you can understand better also that how to build, how eventually to monetize, how to modify the model. For example, we can change this leg with another one in different position because it's separate. We can change the mantle, or we can change, for example, the accessories and so on. So it's something that I suggest you to give a sight, because it can be really quite interesting in the way that you can realize a model that suits you. And here we can find the final ones. Remember that you can monetize these parts eventually, so take note eventually. Here we have how to paint the model itself, quite simply but quite effectively. So we can see that the colors that has been released till now are going to be used in this model. So you have to give a sight, because you can understand that with even a few colors you can realize really quite an interesting amount of things. So for example, this model it's quite simple, but it's better than as not painted at all. So eventually give it a try to realize something like this simple if you're going to start and you want to start painting, because if you don't have too many colors it can be useful. Obviously you can change the colors, you can use other colors, for example, to change the mantle and so on, but this is something that it's under the idea that you gain colors step by step that you go forward, or eventually you can start to buy other colors to personalize your model. So take note about. Here we see also how to play with the psychic powers. So it's really quite interesting because it adds you other parts of the rules, so the psychic phase. Eventually I include for this part also my video that explain how it works in the description, because there is a total playlist that I realized how to play Warhammer 40k this edition. So in this case there is the playlist about in my description that you can have a referring, eventually use it if you want to understand better. But even this, if you're going to start the game, can be really quite interesting because it explains you step by step and not too difficult at all. So eventually take note. Here we have a sort of we can say battle plan to use, so you can use this way to make that you can create your battle plan in the way that you can have a different game with the new rules about, so it can be really quite interesting. Here we have how they work a bit better, some weapons that they have. Here we have this image that I find it always awesome, so eventually you can use it as a poster if you want, because it's really quite simple. Eventually you can cut this little part if you want, but to avoid the holes, but eventually it's really fine also like this. Here we can find the next uses that will be released, these ones and this one. I'm quite uncertain if to buy also this one, because I'm pointing to the 11th release about the Warhammer Conquest, but in a way they are really quite amazing releasing. So even if these are not my best as choices, you can use these ones, for example, as zombies for Age of Sigmar or so on, eventually, because they are not so bad, or eventually also for the Chaos for Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40k. This vehicle, it's something that I really like, and I think that it's something that I had to constrain myself to buy, because it's a really nice model. I don't play this army, but I have some model of Nargol that I'm building, and so I think that I risk to buy also this one. Eventually you see the video about, even if I'm trying not to buy it. And so what we can say about this releasing, I think that it's really quite interesting. The miniature, it's completely worth. You save quite a lot of money other than the buy the one from the GW, so it's really quite amazing one. So I suggest you to take note and give a try. Eventually you have also to remember that you have to decide if it's worth. If you're not going to play it as a model, or you are not interested about, you don't have to buy. But this Warhammer Conquest, I can assure that the first numbers are really quite amazing ones, so I suggest you eventually also to make a subscription. I'm not sponsored by the Hachette or the Games Workshop. Simply I think that this product it's really quite amazing one as a product, and it's worth. Obviously, as I myself choose to buy only some issues, the same is for you. The only thing that you have to find some place where to buy those, because you need only some of those uses, and it's the only problem about it. With the subscription you don't have some problems, you have some free add-ins, and so eventually see about which one is the best for you to choose as progressing for this opera. And if you're interested to this opera too, so you can play Tau or other armies, completely not be interested in these things. Even if I think that some issues in the future can be interesting also for other armies, because there are colors, because there are shinies and so on, that can be really quite amazing ones eventually. So, from Dino Mode, it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again to the next time.